Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Yellowstone's Birmingham talks series finale, Rainwater getting the ranch, treaty with Kayces, potential future and more. Rainwater's efforts to acquire the Dutton Ranch have come to an end in the Yellowstone series finale. Played by Birmingham since the show's launch, Thomas Rainwater is the chief of the Broken Rock Indian Reservation and was introduced as an antagonist to Kevin Costner's John Dutton Yellowstone, working to reclaim the land the Duttons call home for his people. As the show has progressed, though, and other threats have come to Montana, Rainwater and Dutton have steadily had to put their differences aside to work together to protect those they care about. Yellowstone Season 5 has brought the Taylor Sheridan show to a close, with Rainwater and Mo working with John after he won the race for governor to ensure that an oil pipeline doesn't go through their land. In the wake of John's death and Kayces and Beth's investigation to determine who was behind it, the youngest Dutton child elected to forge a deal with Rainwater, giving him and the Broken Rock Reservation the land, permitted that he, Monica and Tate can live on a parcel of land they've set aside for themselves. Alongside Birmingham, the Yellowstone Season 5 Part B cast included the returns of Wes Bentley as Jamie Dutton, Kelly Rayleigh as Beth Dutton, Luke Grimes as Kayces, Kelsey Asbill as Monica, Cole Hauser, Brecken Merrill, Jefferson White, Ryan Bingham, Wendy Moniz and Forey J. Smith, delivering enough of a finished ending for some of its characters while leaving the door open for future stories. Sheridan has closed out the show on an emotional note. Shortly after it aired, Screen Rant interviewed Birmingham to discuss the Yellowstone series finale, Rainwater's initial reaction to John's death, how both he and his character feel about getting the land from the Dutton family and what that means for the Broken Rock's future, as well as what audiences can expect from the upcoming Wind River, the next chapter, and his thoughts on the upcoming animated Twilight reboot at Netflix. Screen Rant, it's great to see you again, and to talk more about Yellowstone. I can't believe we're at the end, at least for the mainline show. How does it feel for you being at the end after 5 seasons? Now, when we last spoke, it was before the premiere, so I hadn't seen anything yet. And now, of course, we know that John is indeed gone. Obviously, there was such a great sort of chess game going on between John and Rainwater throughout the show. What was it like for you when you learned that that was going to be the ultimate fate for the character? So, talking about the way it ended, I honestly do love that Rainwater and the reservation get such a big portion of the land back, because that is their ancestral land. It was prophesied back in 1883 that it was eventually going to come to be, but how did it feel for you again when you saw in the script, and when you learned from Taylor that that was going to be the resolution to this conflict? So, in talking about that responsibility then, obviously we saw some friction on the reservation over whether Thomas should stay the chairman. But how do you think his getting the land is going to impact how his people see him going forward? So you talk about Thomas's intention, by the way, with the land, and I am curious, because part of the deal is that Kayces, Monica and Tate get a portion of it off in the distance. Do you think that in the long run, Thomas is going to stay true to that word, or do you think he eventually might have his own designs for taking over the entirety of the property? It'll definitely be an educational one for him as well going forward. So in talking about the future, we know that Beth and Rip are getting their own Yellowstone spin-off out in Dillon. Obviously, the door is still open for everybody else's stories to continue. Have you heard any potential good news about Thomas's future, what it may hold on the screen? It would be really interesting to see Thomas and Mo, like you say, carry on that stewardship of the land and see what they do with it. I'd love to hear about working with Mo too. You've been with him for 5.5 seasons, and you guys had such a great dynamic throughout the show. What were some of your favorite parts about working with him throughout this show? It would be really interesting to see Thomas and Mo, like you say, carry on that stewardship of the land and see what they do with it. I'd love to hear about working with Mo too. You've been with him for 5.5 seasons, and you guys had such a great dynamic throughout the show. What were some of your favorite parts about working with him throughout this show? They really are such well-rounded characters, and really do offer a great modern-day representation that I love to see. So would you say then that the Vision Quest was your favorite inclusion in the show, or was there another element that you really loved getting to help bring to the screen for your culture? I do see I'm coming up on time, so I have a couple other questions outside of the show I'd love to ask you about. The first is a sort of Taylor question in the sense that you're coming back for the Wind River sequel. I read. It's been a little while since we've heard anything about it. What can you share about when we might start hearing more updates on it? Well, hopefully we'll hear something soon. I know that Taylor didn't have any involvement in it in comparison to the first one. What was it like coming back to a world, but not having the original creative mind behind it? Did you find that the new team was still doing well to honor the original, or did you feel that they maybe brought something unique and new to this world? For my very final question, you are obviously also a big part of the Twilight franchise, which is getting a reboot in an animated form on Netflix. I'm curious what your thoughts are on it getting retold all these years later. Yellowstone chronicles the Dutton family, led by John Dutton, who controls the largest contiguous cattle ranch in the United States. Amid shifting alliances, unsolved murders, open wounds, and hard-earned respect, the ranch is in constant conflict with those it borders: an expanding town, an Indian reservation, and America's first national park. Yellowstone is co-created by Oscar-nominated screenwriter Taylor Sheridan, Wind River, Hell or High Water, and Sicario, and John Linson. Executive producers include John Linson, Art Linson, Taylor Sheridan, Kevin Costner, David C. Glasser, Bob Yari, Stephen Kay, Michael Friedman, Christina Voros, and Keith Cox. The series is distributed by Paramount Global Content Distribution. Gil Birmingham, known for his commanding portrayal of Thomas Rainwater in Yellowstone, recently sat down to discuss the much-anticipated series finale of Taylor Sheridan's acclaimed Western drama. With fans eager to know how the intricate web of alliances, betrayals, and family feuds will unfold, Birmingham's insights offered both tantalizing hints and a reflective take on the journey his character has taken. From Rainwater's evolving vision for the Broken Rock Reservation to his complex dynamic with the Dutton family, Birmingham shared his thoughts on the show's conclusion, potential spin-offs, and what it all means for Rainwater's legacy. Rainwater's endgame. A ranch reclaimed. When asked about the possibility of Thomas Rainwater finally gaining control of the Dutton Ranch, Birmingham's eyes lit up with a mix of hope and intrigue. For Rainwater, the ranch isn't just land, it's a symbol of everything that was taken from his people, he explained. From the very beginning, his fight has been about reclamation, not just survival. It's about restoring dignity and opportunity to the Broken Rock community. Birmingham revealed that Rainwater's journey in the final episodes delves deeply into this quest. There's a scene where Rainwater stands on the ranch, looking out over the land with a sense of bittersweet triumph. It's not just about winning, it's about understanding the weight of what victory means. While he stopped short of confirming whether Rainwater ultimately gains the ranch, Birmingham hinted that the conclusion would be both satisfying and thought-provoking. Taylor Sheridan doesn't do easy endings, everything comes at a cost. Treaty with Kayces. A new alliance. One of the show's most compelling dynamics has been the evolving relationship between Rainwater and Kayces Dutton. Initially adversaries, the two men have found themselves aligned more often than not, united by a shared respect for the land and their families. According to Birmingham, this alliance takes center stage in the finale. Kayces and Rainwater's relationship is rooted in mutual understanding, he said. They're both men caught between worlds, trying to navigate traditions and modernity, family and duty. Birmingham teased a pivotal moment where Rainwater and Kayces forge a treaty that could redefine the future of the Broken Rock Reservation and the Dutton legacy. It's a powerful scene, he shared. Rainwater acknowledges Kayces' deep connection to the land and his lineage, and Kayces, in turn, recognizes the historical injustice Rainwater is fighting to rectify. They come to an agreement that's not just about land but about respect and coexistence. This treaty, Birmingham hinted, could pave the way for a new era in the Yellowstone universe. It's not a perfect solution, nothing ever is, but it's a step forward, a bridge between two worlds.